The MCU is becoming bigger and bigger and more cosmic, with all sorts of beings manipulating the fundamental forces of the universe itself. And today, we're going to take a look at all these cosmic beings throughout the MCU and rank them all from weakest to strongest. Now, we're kind of playing loose with the term cosmic here, but it's basically anyone who's powerful enough to operate on a more cosmic scale. So let's get to it. Love kinda makes the list as more of a technicality than anything else. She's the daughter of Gore the God Butcher, but she was resurrected by the cosmic entity Eternity, and in doing so, kinda became a cosmic hybrid. She can manipulate and control cosmic energy at will, but we really haven't seen much from her, and like I said, she's on this list basically because of a technicality. Ammit was a notorious Aeneid who cast judgment on the impure and evil by devouring their souls. But Ammit decided to start punishing people before they could actually commit any evil act, which led her to being imprisoned by Khonshu. But when Ammit broke out, well, she really showed just how powerful she was, absorbing countless souls, having a massive fight with Khonshu. Zeus is the king of the Greek gods and the ruler of Omnipotent City, and that should make him incredibly powerful. Omnipotent City is home to all of the most powerful gods out there, and Zeus is ruler over all of them. But Thor was literally able to one-shot Zeus, and so it makes you think that while Zeus might have been powerful at one point, he's definitely let himself go, and actually isn't close to the most powerful god out there. The Ancient One was a master of the mystic arts and the sorcerer supreme for a long time. It was her job to protect the earth against all sorts of mystical enemies looking to destroy it. And to make sure that nothing would ever destroy the world, well, she made a deal with the devil and started tapping into the powers of the dark dimension. It's one of the reasons why she was able to live for such a long time. It also allows her greater control and manipulation over alternate realities, like the mirror dimension. Doctor Strange is the master of the mystic arts and the sorcerer supreme, easily showing off that he's the most powerful sorcerer on Earth and the greatest defense against any magical threat. And he's done some great things throughout the years, dealing with multiversal threats, fighting against Scarlet Witch, even fighting against Thanos with 4 Infinity Stones. However, while Strange has been able to battle against all sorts of enemies, he's actually struggled to seal the deal and beat a lot of them. His greatest victory was over Dormammu, and then he only did it with the Time Stone, which he no longer has. That track record kinda holds him back here. The God of Thunder. For a lot of years, Thor was able to hold onto the title as strongest Avenger and most powerful hero in the MCU. Of course, the MCU has been constantly expanding ever since then, and a few people have passed him up. But he's still a god. He's still incredibly powerful. He's the only hero who's legitimately shown off planetary level strength on screen. He's battled against some of the toughest villains out there. He's definitely earned his place on this list. The Asgardian goddess of death and Odin's firstborn, Hela was banished from her bloodlust, and when she eventually managed to make her way back, well, she came back with a vengeance. Hela has a mystical connection to Asgard, meaning that she's more powerful there than anywhere else, so her feats might be a little skewed, but she was able to dominate in her fight against Thor every single time. Made it look easy. And it's not like she wasn't powerful anywhere else. She literally shattered Mjolnir in the palm of her hand while still on Earth. Hela's also got magical powers, and as the goddess of death, well, she's able to resurrect and control the dead. Now, yes, Kang the Conqueror was defeated by a whole bunch of ants. You can argue that should actually eliminate him from this list altogether, but he was a bit depowered there and has claimed to have killed countless different versions of the Avengers, including Thor's, and managed to destroy entire worlds and timelines. So if all that is true, well then this spot is probably a bit of an undersell. So I just decided to meet in the middle, and that's how Kang ended up in this spot here. The Egyptian god of the moon, Khonshu definitely has a soft spot for humanity, and continues to help mankind through his avatar, the Moon Knight. And while he's not been super impressive while actually in a fight, Khonshu is seen a few times moving stars and moons and planets around with just his mind. Now, this might be nothing more than just an illusion, but if there's some actual validity to it and Khonshu is actually moving planets around with ease, well then he's one of the most powerful gods we've ever seen. Gore, nicknamed the God Butcher, is an alien who was once a devout follower of his religion but turned to violence when the gods ignored him, which led his daughter Love to die. From there, well, he decided to exterminate all the gods. He was able to fight evenly against Thor and beat him, but it's really just how much every other god feared him. Thor believed they needed to raise up an army of all the most powerful gods in the universe in order to even have a shot at beating him. Captain Marvel is basically in a class all her own compared to a lot of the heroes in the MCU. Only a few can even remotely compare next to her now that she's had some massive upgrades from her new movie. Like at her best, well, she's at least hundreds of thousands of times faster than the speed of light. She can fight against Thanos and overpower him, even if he was wearing the Infinity Gauntlet. That's still better than anything anyone else has ever done, and she was legit able to reignite a star just based off her own raw power. She was even able to fight against Infinity Ultron on her own for a little while, blowing up a planet in the process. She's truly in a class all her own. It kinda took a while for Wanda Maximoff to officially become the Scarlet Witch, but when she did, well, she really cemented her place as a powerhouse in the MCU. She's one of the most powerful magic users we've ever seen, to the point where she's more powerful than the Sorcerer Supreme. Doctor Strange said he had no way to defeat her, and she could take on all the sorcerers of Earth at once. Scarlet Witch was suggested to be a multiversal threat, and she really lived up to the hype. Surtur has always been doom. For countless millennia, it was told that he would bring about Ragnarok, destroying Asgard and completely consuming the realm. Odin and the Asgardians did everything they could to stop that, but they couldn't stand up against destiny for forever. Surtur eventually made his way to Asgard and destroyed everything, completely wiping out the entire realm. The king of Asgard and the ruler of the 9 realms, Odin for a long time served as a staple in the MCU, one of the most powerful beings out there. I mean, he's the dad of Thor and Hela. You can be sure he's a powerhouse. He was the one who was able to defeat Surtur and imprisoned him in order to stop Ragnarok from happening. He beat Hela and imprisoned her too. He can destroy whole worlds, and his magic is really top class. He can literally create stars with just a thought. Ego is both a celestial and a literal living planet. You can be sure he's insanely powerful. I mean, his entire plan is to span out across the entire galaxy and bring it all under his control by literally becoming one with the galaxy. And he technically already had half the power to do it inside him. So if he had just set his sights on, say, becoming one with half the galaxy, well, he could have done it by himself. Told you, he was powerful. Alioth is a trans-temporal entity created by rifts in space-time, and now serves as the guardian of the void. He can consume everything: energy, matter, even time and space. Nothing is left behind when Alioth passes through. In fact, Alioth is the whole reason why the multiversal war ended. He devoured countless branched versions of reality and turned it all into nothingness. Dormammu is a being older than time itself, existing outside of our concept of reality as the ruler of the dark dimension. He's got absolute and total control over the dark dimension, which is just an amalgamation of all the different countless universes that Dormammu has consumed in the past and brought into his realm. And his plan is to conquer and absorb all the infinite universes throughout the multiverse, bringing it all into the dark dimension. Of course, for as powerful as he is, he does have one massive Achilles heel. If you're able to control time, well, then you can beat him. Thanos. For a good long while, he stood on top of the MCU as the most powerful being there is, mostly because he had the Infinity Gauntlet and no one else did. And since then, a few people have got their hands on the Infinity Stones too. They've actually shown off better feats with it. But never forget that Thanos was the OG, and never forget that he managed to kill literally half of the entire universe too. He's a warlord, a genocidal maniac, and still one of the biggest powerhouses to date. When Steve Rogers wasn't able to take the super soldier serum himself, Peggy Carter stepped up in his place, becoming Captain Carter, the ultimate soldier. And just like Captain America, Captain Carter is superhumanly strong, fast, tough. She's a world-class fighter and a menace with her vibranium shield. However, the version of Captain Carter that I'm talking about here is when she fought against Doctor Strange, and so she gained Infinity Ultron's armor and all 6 Infinity Stones, Hela's helmet and all her power, and a gamma-irradiated sword. That's when she just leaped up in power, became one of the most powerful beings in the multiverse. Of course, compared to the likes of Ultron or even Strange, Captain Carter didn't really use all this power that creatively, and mostly just resorted to firing out energy blast or still trying to fight hand to hand. The Phoenix Force is an incredibly powerful cosmic entity, capable of manipulating all the matter and energy in the universe. It took the mutant Jean Grey as its host, greatly increasing her power, but at the same time causing her to kinda go just a little bit insane. The Phoenix is able to manipulate all energy, destroy and regenerate anything in its path, and even control and manipulate life itself, making it one of the most powerful cosmic beings out there. Ereshkigal the Judge is the Prime Celestial, the one responsible for causing the Big Bang, creating the universe, and bringing light to the universe. He's the first of the Celestials, beings who all came before the very dawn of creation, the most powerful of all of them, being their leader. The dude can literally create universes. He's insanely powerful. The Watcher is a 5th-dimensional being who observes the multiverse from the nexus of all realities, and is easily one of the most powerful beings in the multiverse. Now, while he has sworn an oath of never intervening, only watching, if the Watcher ever does have to throw some hands, well, watch out. He's a cosmic being of nearly unlimited power and potential. He's got immense, pretty much god-like powers and abilities. The Watcher is easily one of the most powerful beings in the multiverse. Doctor Strange was the Sorcerer Supreme and mastered the mystic arts and was hellbent on saving the love of his life, Christine Palmer. And so Strange went about collecting more and more power, gaining more and more abilities, until he ultimately accidentally destroyed his entire reality trying to bring her back. This is where the Watcher found him and recruited him to lead a team in stopping Infinity Ultron from destroying the multiverse. And this fight was mostly Doctor Strange versus Ultron. Ultron even acknowledged this. It was Strange who was primarily fighting against all 6 Infinity Stones in a multiversal threat. And we saw this again with his battle against Captain Carter and Kahori. even with the Infinity Stones and their powers and all the magical items you could want, Kahori and Carter still struggled to beat Strange all on his own. He's that powerful. Nathaniel Richards was a scientist from the 31st century who discovered alternate universes and other different versions of himself. When some of these variants attempted to conquer other realities, a multiversal war broke out, and so Richards weaponized Alioth to end the war. Then he became He Who Remains, founding the Time Variance Authority in order to preserve the sacred timeline and sitting at the end of all time in order to prevent his variants from coming back. He's basically immortal and omniscient. He literally manipulated the whole multiverse from his throne at the end of everything. In this universe, Ultron succeeded in his mission to beat the Avengers, and he didn't stop there. He was quickly able to kill Thanos, steal the Infinity Stones. With all this power, well, he went out and straight up wiped out the universe. And as he stood there, bathing in the silence, well, he accidentally discovered the existence of the multiverse, and went about trying to destroy that too. And he was going to destroy absolutely anyone who stood in his way. If it wasn't for the Guardians of the Multiverse working together and being able to take him out, well, I don't think that anyone could have actually stopped Ultron. Eternity is a cosmic entity that came into existence at the beginning of time, along with his sister Infinity, his son Entropy, and death itself. He represents all time in the universe, and along with Infinity are two of the three essential forces in the universe, expanding out all life and creation. And so, together with Entropy, whose whole purpose is destruction, they manage to keep the cycles of creation and destruction in balance throughout the whole multiverse. Death is a straight up cosmic entity, the embodiment of death and decay of all living things, as well as being the original Green Witch, Rio Vidal. As Death, she wields immense magical power, drawing from the mystical powers of the universe itself, and is the first user of Earth magic as the original Green Witch. And of course, as Death, well, she has unlimited power over Death itself, and everything that goes along with that. When the MCU started, did anyone actually think that 15 years later that Loki would be the most powerful character out there? I sure didn't, but he is, no doubt about it. I mean, his power is literally infinite and immeasurable. He managed to destroy the temporal loom and pull together all the timelines and universes throughout the multiverse and forge them into a creation all his own, where he now reigns supreme. Loki is a complex multiversal being. He's definitely the most powerful character in the MCU, and the most powerful sorcerer out there. But what do y'all think? Sound off in the comments down below. I know you're gonna have thoughts and feelings on this one for sure. If you stuck around this long and made it to the end of the video, that's amazing. Thank you so much for watching and for supporting us. And if you want to go subscribe, well, go subscribe. You're going to see more videos like this one every single week. I'll see y'all then. I'll see y'all next time.